I heard you guys like SCPs, so I figured we would study and explore the world of North American cryptids. This video is by Big Tugg. So let's look into that. Let's see.
The study of biology, something that is incredibly cool and also not cool at the same exact time. On the dorky, boring side of the coin, you have things like the Punnett square and trying to make school children memorize every part of a cell for some
and there's like no point to this. Like, we're not gonna use this.
goddamn reason. I've never used that information once in my life. But on the cool, fun side of the coin, you have things like discovering cool new animals or
I don't know, that this is nightmare fuel. I don't know if this is a cool new animal. It's cool nightmare fuel.
discovering what kind of poison kills humans the fastest. But most
Alright, that is a little bit cool.
are unaware of the secret, darker third side of the common coin. And in this fourth dimensional plane, we find the dark arts of the biology world. I am, of course, referring to the study of cryptozoology. If you don't know, cryptozoology is the study of cryptids, which by definition are animals
Look at this statue. Look at his face.
whose existence are still unproven by science.
I see.
Stay with me for a little bit. These are creatures like the Yeti, or the Loch Ness Monster, or my girlfriend who goes to another school. You definitely don't know her, but she definitely exists. And this study of cryptozoology is often referred to as not good and bad by nerds who think you need things like
Yeah, it's referred to, you know, experts as, you know, not good or bad, but it's because they're boring, so they don't understand.
evidence and repeatable studies. It's often lumped in with things like UFOlogy or ghostology, two things that are super cool, so I don't know why it's such a big deal.
Things that are much fun than figuring out why the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
You dork asses in lab coats something, okay? Scientists discover 18,000 new species every year. Every year they do that. And yeah, most of the time it's like a new tiny beetle or a new—
Oh, look at him. Look at that baby. That was a moth, not a That's a moth. That's not a beetle, that's a moth.
beetle or a new brand of kelp in the ocean, but who's to say the next one isn't going to be the fabled bat boy? America has one of the most diverse climates on Earth. You poke around a little bit and you're bound to find something freaky. And that's exactly what I did. Today we're going to be taking American cryptids and breaking them down and organizing them on criteria that I have made up on the spot. Because this kind—
Alright guys, get out your notebook and pencils. We're about to learn. We're about to get learned.
The deep web hearsay nonsense is the kind of stuff that makes certain body parts of mine stand up like the national anthem is playing.
Oh man. I know what some of these are. Is this one Bigfoot? I don't know what the heck this guy is. He's all legs and like a baseball for a body. I don't know about this guy. These all look like collectible friend shapes to me so far, unless told otherwise.
That was graphic, but we're getting into the video.
The quick breakdown.
So let me just give you a brief synopsis about what we're about to talk about, so then you're not super confused when I bring up something like the Mothman. So many cryptids study in cryptozoology.
Oh man! This is like a fluffy Garfield with bunny ears.
Come from things like folklore or
oh my god. This one just looks like an axolotl that's having an especially bad day. Like, this guy, he's just a grumpy axolotl. You know? An especially angry axolotl shape.
Stories from centuries past. But in 1995, cryptids got a little bit more real because a zoologist named Bernard Heuvelmans, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, published a book called On the Track of Unknown Animals, which is such a goddamn cool name for a science book.
It really
around the same time period, another zoologist named Ivan T. Sanderson wrote a whole book on the abominable snowman, and that kind of laid the foundation of cryptozoology. And even though cryptozoology is pretty much just a hot cocktail of 20th century rumors and myths, because of the internet, it is now arguably more popular than it ever has been before. And if at this point in the video you're still like, Tucker, that's stupid, I'm not gonna watch this, then you can leave. But I have one thing to leave for you before we get into all the animals I'm about to talk about. Did you know sometimes cryptids become real? Did you know that?
Oh my god! Yeah, the narwhal, to be fair, looks like something that we invented that should not exist. It's like same with the platypus. Like if you didn't understand or have any knowledge about some of the weird animals that exist in the world, like the narwhal, and another one would be the platypus, like, totally seem like things that, like, we made up. That should not exist in real life. You know?
Proven to be real sometime? At one point, giant pandas, megamouth sharks, and Komodo dragons were all thought to be cryptozoology bullshit.
Really? I didn't know pandas. Like, I could see some of the other ones. What was the other ones he mentioned?
Giant pandas, megamouth sharks, and Komodo...
Like any type of weird shark. I could kind of see. Same with like some types of lizards, but I don't know. I didn't know that pandas were considered.
Dragons were all thought to be cryptozoology bullshit. They didn't think they were real. And then they found them and brought their corpses back to science labs, and now they're proven to be real. And those people who said they weren't real kind of look stupid. So, you know, I'm not saying you're stupid, but you kind of look like it. So maybe be allowed to swallow some new information before we get into this next segment, because these next segments
try not to be boring skill issue. Allow your brain to become brained.
Going to be a lot of confusing information.
Soak in the wisdom.
But just have fun. Just sit down and have fun.
The sad ones.
Obviously, I'm going to categorize each separate group of cryptids into things that make me feel a certain type of way. Some cryptids are spooky, some are goofy, some make me a little horny. We'll get into that later. So first,
they're all friend shapes to me, you know what I'm saying? I feel like we can make friends with all of them unless they're like really opposed to it.
We're going to talk about American cryptids that I feel bad for.
I'm a cryptid enabler, you know what I mean? I'm in full support of their, you know, good and bad actions.
Their descriptions are so sad that I feel like God was mad at them when they were invented. Up first, we have the Michigan Dogman. Now, not only does he have
I haven't heard of this one.
Mean nickname Dogman.
So he looks like a werewolf, so we just decided we didn't want a werewolf. We wanted like somebody like more casual, like more dog-coded, like more man's best friend, so we had to make him a dog man and not a werewolf.
But he's also from Michigan, so he can't win. In 1887, two lumberjacks in Michigan spotted a creature with a human torso and a canine's head. He was described as 7 feet tall and had eyes of amber, which sounds more romantic than scary.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty, like, it also sounds like it was a romantic endeavor. Like, oh, I saw him in the middle of the night with eyes of amber. And it was just the two of us. Really now?
I guess if you're a lumberjack, you don't get turned on that easy. So naturally, they called him the Michigan Dogman, which, I don't know, people were lazier back then. I think I would probably come up with a cooler name than that, but then I'd get called...
Were werewolves in existence yet? Like, did we have a name for werewolves? Like, why did we go with Dogman?
Furry, so I'm not...
Were we like, oh crap, werewolf's already taken. No, I'm the first one to cite one of these, so, it's a Dogman. I discovered it. It's mine. There's nothing else anyone else has discovered that looks like this.
Say what I'm thinking. But apparently the story goes, when the two guys walked up on this fucked up creature, it just started screaming at them. When he howled, apparently...
What? Just start... So now we're calling it howling. He says howling shortly after, but first he just says screaming. So is it like a ow, or is it like a ah?
Apparently it sounded like a human scream, but are we sure that...
Okay, so it wasn't a dog howl. It was literally just someone screaming.
He just didn't walk up on one of the ugliest dudes ever, and the guy got scared and screamed at them? That kind of sounds like what this story is, but legend...
Bro, so they scared this man. So this dog man of sorts. Watch them have just found a man that was like RPing in the woods being a furry. And then, like, two dudes are sneaking up on him, so he gets scared and that's the entire reason for this story.
Apparently it sounded like a human scream, but are we sure that they just didn't walk up on one of the ugliest dudes ever and the guy got scared and screamed at them? That kind of sounds like what this story is. But legend has it, it appears once every 10 years. So if anyone is in the furry community...
Bro, so what you're telling me is it's an introvert that doesn't hang out in society, except for, like, once in every 10 years, he feels the need to dress up as a furry and hang out somewhere in the woods, and sometimes he gets caught by random people who are, you know, on the search for him, and then screams at them because he's not expecting them to find him while he's minding his own business.
And wants to have a chance. Not finishing that thought. Up next, we have the Slide Rock Bolter, which sounds like a really...
Slide Rock Bolter? This is a fish?
Fun roller coaster, but it is not. It's a horrible creature. According to legend, although the website I got this from is confident it was real, in the early 20th century there was a thing called the Slide Rock Bolter that meandered around Colorado and was pretty much a land whale. A whale.
So the land whale, but he's stealthy, so like we don't always find him. He's just stealthily land fishing around, specifically in Colorado, huh?
That walked around on land. According to first-hand accounts...
Oh, he's very grumpy about it too. He's not just chilling. He's not just vibing, being a landfish. He's really pissed off for some reason.
Are definitely real. It was the size of an entire hill, which is not a good descriptor. Hills vary in size. It had a massive head, small eyes, sharp teeth, and had hand-like hooks at the end of
Bro, could we use him as a landslide into, like, could we cannonball off the snoot into the water? I feel like people do dangerous stuff like this all the time.
flippers. It would lie in wait above eyesight with its hooks attached to the trees. And I don't know how you would miss it because it's a whale sitting in a tree. But once
Oh my god. But somehow he is stealthy and very hard to find.
it decided to make you its victim and you're walking at the bottom of a hill, it would detach from trees and just slide down the hill, crushing everything.
Oh, so he literally is part of a landslide, depending on where he is, you know, fishing, land walking, land sliding?
Yeah, so it didn't really use its teeth. It would just squish you like a marshmallow. It would then...
You have gone in my path. Now you will die. As he just slides down slowly and crushes you. What a way to go.
So it didn't really use its teeth. It would just squish you like a marshmallow.
Like, oh no, what's gonna happen to me? And he just slides down slowly and crushes you.
And use its momentum from crushing you to slide up another hill, and the pattern would repeat in a
So he's a living sled. Like, he's literally sliding around. Like he's on a water slide, except for it's Colorado's mountains and hills.
Like system. And you might be thinking, Tucker, how was it able to slide down hills so loosely? Well, it's because of its drool. It would drool a lot.
It drools. It drools to get momentum. You couldn't just say, like, he naturally is like a wet fish and like just naturally has the ability to be wet because he's like a mythological fish. Nah, he's gotta like down every hill so that he gets speed.
And
yeah, he's got lubricant drool. Oh, no. No.
This lube to slide down a hill. I don't know. I don't want to think about this. Apparently, entire parties of tourists were getting eaten by this thing in the early 20th century. And once again, people, they make it seem like this was real. No way this is real. I feel like I would have read about it in a history book. Legend has it that it was defeated.
Bro, he says that. That's the last thing he says before he's on a trip in Colorado and gets eaten by this thing.
By a park ranger in the San Juan Mountains that eventually tricked the beast into attacking a fake tourist filled with explosives. And the black...
What? Wait, who decided, we need to stop this landfish that keeps eating people and sliding everywhere in his own drool? I got it. Let's make a fake human scarecrow specimen and line it with dynamite. That's the only way we take this out efficiently and effectively.
Juan Mountains that eventually tricked the beast into attacking a fake tourist filled with explosives. And the blast was so powerful that it leveled half the buildings in the small town of Rico. And
wouldn't everywhere else also be filled with, like, fish guts and drool with that explosion? Like, wouldn't it be raining fish guts?
It seems like a government cover-up. It seems like a really bad government cover-up, so they definitely let an explosion go off that was not supposed to happen. But now we have a funny story about it. And I feel bad for this thing because it's ugly and covered in drool. I don't think I have to explain that one.
Oh my god. I like all the different depictions. It never gets better. It just gets worse and worse. Like, this guy kind of looks like a salamander almost in the face.
Story about it. And I feel bad for this thing because it's ugly and covered in drool. I don't think I have to explain that one. Number 3, we have the Loveland Frogman.
Hey, yo.
It's the kind of the same vibe as the Dogman. Let's just put up an artist rendition of the Frogman so we all know why I feel bad about it. It's just a big...
Oh my, this one's even worse. This one doesn't even quite look like a frog. It's got like a Pokemon face with like 3 double chins. He's got chins on his chins. Yeah, he's got a little bit of Pepe holding. Like, what is this stance?
Bipedal frog, pretty much. 4 feet tall bipedal frog that has been...
I like this one better. This one looks more frog-like than whatever the pencil drawing was.
It's just...
like, this one really is enough to keep me up at night. I don't like this one.
Just a big bipedal frog, pretty much. 4 feet tall bipedal frog that
this one's alright. Somehow this one doesn't bother me the same.
Spotted in Loveland, Ohio several times since 1955. It was first seen by a businessman who was traveling to Ohio, and he said, and this is not a joke, it had a wand that emitted sparks. So
Wow-wee! So he's a magical frogman's.
He's a wizard frogman. A wizard! In 1972,
even
2
cooler.
police officers witnessed the frogman cross the road and climb over a guardrail towards the river, which is so funny to me. Because he's a frog. Why is he, like, lazily lumbering, like, just trying to get a leg over the guardrail? I just think that's a funny visual. And then the frogman...
What do you mean? I feel like as a frog, it'd be really hard to get over the guardrail, okay?
And then the Frogman trail ran cold until 2016, where two teens were playing Pokemon Go and they spotted the Frogman. Now that might have been a mind.
Can you put him in the Pokeball? Will he go in?
Looking for Pokemon and you kind of find a real one. And actually, they got some grainy footage of the f***er, so we're gonna watch that right now.
Oh my god.
I think that's believable. I don't know about you.
That's definitely him, I could tell. I could tell that has to be the Frogman.
Bad for him because he's obviously just a dude. he's just, if he's real, he's just a frog.
Yeah, if he is a real specimen, he's just minding his own business. Like, what? My favorite thing is, why do they, like, some of the depictions make his face, like, kind of, like, not frog-shaped. Like, he's got a little bit of a snapping turtle face here.
Guy. He's not a threat. He doesn't hurt anybody. He's just trying to walk around and people keep taking pictures of him. And if I was a frogman, I'd probably want to have a private life, personally.
Yeah, I'd be like, can you guys stop trying to find me? Obviously, I can't even, like, you know, go to the grocery store without people screaming at me for being a frogman. Can you guys just leave me alone?
So I
Do
feel
not
bad for him.
perceive.
And then we have the Hodag, which is a little bit scarier than the other one.
The Hodag? What is this? Man-eating Hodag. What even is this made of? It looks like a pug mixed with a dragon, mixed with, like, grandpa's dentures.
But it's got a cool name, the Hodag. It sounds like a really good barbecue dish to me. Once again, lumberjacks started this rumor in the 1890s. This one has a lot of descriptors, so I'm just gonna go through the list. A dragon-bodied creature with the head of a frog, large tusks, a horn of a bison, the grinning face of an elephant, short legs with huge claws.
Where's the elephant? This doesn't look like an elephant at all. This looks like a mammoth, actually, the more I look at it. Looks kind of like a mammoth.
A spiny back, a long tail with spears at the end, and a smell like buzzard meat mixed with skunk perfume.
Buzzard meat mixed with skunk perfume is a wild combination.
So I feel like they're just being mean, whatever the fuck this thing is. Local newspapers at the time started
Yeah, they're being so mean about him. He can't help how he smells. Jeez.
Writing about this cryptid and pretending like it was real. Newspapers, I'm gonna make a video about this at one point. If you were a newspaper man in like the early 20th century, people were just making shit up all the time. If you had no news that day, talk about a horrible creature that might live near you. Whatever.
I mean, hey, we kind of do that now in current news, but anyway. This is just far more interesting.
But actually, at one point in history, a Hodag was claimed to have been captured and was displayed at the Oneida County Fair. Now,
Dang!
if you're ever curious about something scientific, go to your local county fair. They'll have an answer for you. News of the creatures spread, and once again...
I gotta know what this looked like. Like, that must have been a very talented, like, artist or, you know, other type of animal specimen that they like, you know, filled with stuffing and combined with other things. They're like, yep, this is the real thing.
And national newspapers reported on it, because what are you gonna do? It's 1891 and you have nothing better. This got the attention of Smithsonian scientists, that's very hard to say, and they were like, yo, what's going on over here? Let's take a gander. And then
Hey, what's that over there? You got a real Hodag? We gotta check that out. Yeah, I'm guessing it might have been taxidermy art, is my guess.
the guy who brought the thing to the county fair immediately admitted this was a hoax. I don't know.
Oh my god, look at it. Is this real? Bro, this is a really nice art sculpture. There he is, chat. He's right there. He's got to be real.
What a Hodag is, and I just put a bunch of weird animal body parts together. That's what the Hodag was. It was just...
Yep. Okay, so I don't know that this was real. I don't know.
I don't know what a Hodag is, and I just put a bunch of weird animal body parts together. That's what the Hodag was. It was just a bunch of corpses. Personally,
so he did, yeah. I told you guys. Okay, so I was right. He did do some taxidermy art and just hodgepodged a bunch of animals together, and yeah.
I just love this fable because obviously it was a bunch of like just lumberjacks telling stories and they were just one-upping each other. Like someone was like, it's got the body of a dragon, or it's like, or I think it's got tusks, and the other guy was like, I think it has a horn, and the other guy's like, well, it already has tusks, why would it need a horn? And he's like, shut the fuck up, we're gonna make a Hodag.
He can't have tusks and horns. Why does he need both? It's like, stop it, Jeff. He has both because he's a cryptid, because he's a monster, and he has spikes on his head and his face, because that's more metal. Shut up.
All right, next up we have the cryptids that I don't feel bad for. I want them to leave me alone. I think these guys are too scary to, they scare the shit out of me. These are the gruesome ones. These are the bloodthirsty.
What happened? This guy's got he's got a weird shape. He's got a weird shape.
Ones that are rumored to kill and want to eat children a lot of the time. Very children-based, most of these. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. We're gonna talk them over, and then you tell me if you can sleep or not in the comments. I'm not commenting.
Bro, that looks like Markiplier, but like a cryptid or something, doesn't it? Like, Markiplier's way better looking, don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not trying to diss on Markiplier, but it looks like they took like a picture of Markiplier and like stretched it out and like edited it weird. Doesn't it?
Debating, but I can't sleep, and I want to know if someone else is suffering with me. Up first, we have the Wampus cat, which sounds...
The Wampus? I like this one. What do you mean it's too scary? This one looks great. I want a Wampus cat. Can I take the Wampus cat for walks? That looks fantastic. Wampus... God damn it, chat. Now you ruined it. Thanks.
Adorable. I wish I named my cat Wampus. That's a great name for a cat. Apparently,
it
this
really
cryptid lives in the Appalachian Mountains, and if you know anything about the Appalachian Mountains in America, you know that bad things happen there. You'll just be walking along a trail, and a hillbilly with a banjo will pop out and say, "Don't go wandering in those woods," and you do, and then you get turned inside out by some fucked up creature. And the Wampus cat is one of those creatures. It has roots in Cherokee folklore, so you know they're not fucking around. Half cat, half human, with a little bit of dog thrown in for good measure. It has 6 legs, but only walks on 2 of them, which is a scary ass image.
So is it like a centaur, but a cat?
Large claws and fangs, and it yells out terrible screams when you get near it, and it has these big glowing yellow eyes that...
Maybe it's shy, like this is the second one we've heard of that doesn't like it when people come near it. Literally, this is the second time where it's like, oh yeah, and then when we got near it, it started screaming. It's like, leave it alone, man, it's shy.
Look into them long enough, you will be devolved into madness, like a really bad weed panic attack. Once again, we have another newspaper from the early 1900s saying a bunch of nonsense to scare the local townspeople. The Greenville Sun claimed it was roaming around their town. It said there was a beast walking around their town for fun, I guess. And since then, the Wampus cat has been sighted numerous times in the 20th century, from Appalachia to Texas, often blamed for killing livestock, like an unexplained goat is torn open. That was the Wampus cat. The only reason—
Man, but what if he didn't even do that? What if he was just minding his own business? What if he was just minding his own business? And they were like, oh yeah, it was the Wampus cat. And he's like, I did not. Yeah, he was framed. What if he didn't do it? Real life displacer beast? I don't know. He just looks like a especially large kind of lots of jaws cat.
I'm really scared of this thing is, one, because the eyes, that scares me, but also I own a cat, and if my cat was a little bit bigger, it would have killed me by now. So the fact that there's a thing with 6 legs, it would have killed just me. Not worth my time, honestly. Next up, we have a personal—
What do you mean? I mean, maybe he's just a wild cat, not a house cat. Jeez. Jeez, I feel like Big Tugg is being kind of harsh to this cat. I don't know. I like him. I like that one. That one's my favorite so far. I like the Wampus.
Favorite of mine, which is the Mothman. If you haven't read my shirt yet, you should take the time to do so now. The first recording sighting of the Mothman happened in West Virginia in 1966. A bunch of guys were digging a grave in a cemetery, and they all looked up, and there was the Mothman. Imagine seeing the Mothman. Let me describe what the Mothman looks like. 7 feet tall, large dusty wings, and bright red glowing eyes. And
this is the peak specimen. He was perfect in every way. I didn't realize that they had the Mothman written down like so early. I didn't realize it was from like the 60s. That's cool.
Was flying above them. 3 nights later, a cute couple was driving down a highway, and the Mothman chased them up to 100 miles per hour, and it wasn't even breaking a sweat. Newspapers started reporting on this thing, and over the course of several years, over 100 sightings of the Mothman happened in West Virginia. And like any good American cryptid, anytime someone saw this thing, Men in Black would show up at their house and say, don't talk about it, this is real serious shit. And then weirdly, in 1967, the Mothman stopped visiting after a bridge collapse in West Virginia. It killed over 46 people, and people believe that the Mothman shows up when there's like a bad thing about to happen. Like, he's an omen. He's kind of chill like that. And since then, whenever there is a Mothman reporting, it happens right before something terrible happens. Mine collapsing, nuclear meltdowns, terrorist attacks. The Mothman is there. The Mothman is there.
Maybe he's trying to warn everyone. Maybe he's not an omen. Maybe he's there trying to warn everyone ahead of time. Maybe he's the hero we never asked for but always needed. Look at him.
there for us in those moments of need, which is exactly why I would start crying if I saw him. Not only because that's horrifying, but also because I know that I'm probably going to get arrested for tax evasion or something if the Mothman shows up. Something bad is gonna happen. Next up, we have the Dover Demon, something that I'm proud of. Go Massachusetts, go Woosok. 1977, 3 teenagers are hanging out in Dover, Massachusetts when they all independently said they saw the Dover Demon. Initially, they all said they thought it was—
I really like the fact that all of the cryptids specifically have, like, a state location. You know what I mean? Like, they all have to have, like, a special location. Like, they only hang out in that state.
a dog or a cat crawling along one of those weird stone walls you see in Massachusetts all the time, like we just finished the Civil War. Then they got closer to it, and it wasn't a cat or a dog. It was something much more awful and horrible, let me tell you. A humanoid, 3 or 4 feet in length, with a gray, hairless body. Its head was large and watermelon shaped.
Bro, he's by far the weirdest looking one. Yeah, this one's a weirdo.
No eyelids and glassy orange eyes. So it's not a gray alien. It has orange eyes. So it's different. It had no nose or mouth and long tendril-like fingers.
Oh yeah, this guy's the most scary looking one out of the ones we've seen so far. Like this guy be looking kind of weird.
Ooh, imagine that thing clicking the back of your neck. The creepiest part about the Dover Demon is that all 3 of them, they weren't hanging out. I don't know if I explained that right, but there were 3 independent teens that all saw this thing, and all of their accounts were remarkably similar. It was in the 70s over a span of 2 days, so it wasn't just all once at night. I definitely fucked up explaining this. People have a lot of different explanations for these things, like some people say it's an alien, and some people say it was probably a moose calf, because moose calves kind of look like that.
Oh my god. Man, being extra mean when describing this moose.
Yes, I've never seen a moose calf. And a lot of cryptozoologists say, oh, it's not a
Man, I didn't realize moose calves could be so ugly. That's crazy.
cryptid because it's probably an alien, but fuck that. I love Massachusetts and I'm going to talk about it. And then finally we have the Fresno Nightcrawler, which this one's a recent one. And this one, I remember seeing a video of it when I was a kid on YouTube.
Oh, this is the one that's all legs and like only has a baseball for a body, right?
And I can't stand this thing. 2007, a Fresno, California resident set up security cameras to figure out what was making his dogs bark at night. But instead of squirrels or angsty teens just throwing rocks at his house, he found something much more horrific. In grainy webcam footage are 2 4-foot-long pairs of legs, skinny legs that walked across.
Why is there only legs? Could you imagine being like, oh, I gotta get those trespassers off my lawn, and you look at the lawn footage and it's like only legs? It's like, oh, all right, maybe we leave that one be. I don't know what to do with that.
Across his yard, as if they were being puppeted by something much bigger up in the sky. And I think there's like a head floating above it. It's just, I'm gonna play a video of it.
Ah, what is happening? It kind of looks like a kid in a blanket, doesn't it? It kind of looks like a kid in like a, you know, a blanket, like you would poke holes in it and pretend you're a ghost. Amogus.
Since the initial sighting,
It's not his fault he's built different, man. Look at him go, look at him go, look at those legs.
Since the initial sighting, it's also been seen in Yosemite National Park, Montana, and Poland, so these things get around. And I don't know why it scares me so much, because it's pretty much just walking pain.
Man, look at that set of pants. It just built a little different, just missing the midsection, okay?
Like, have you ever seen that Jimmy Neutron episode where he starched his pants too hard? It's pretty much just sentient pants, and I don't know how that could hurt me, but I know it's gonna hurt me if it touches me. Or that Brian David Gilbert jorts video, like when his pants are standing next to his bed and they run down the hall or whatever the fuck. That's what I imagine these pants are gonna do to me. I don't want to deal with that.
I mean, they're just hanging around. It doesn't look like they're committing atrocities. They're just hanging out.
Alright, so this part's gonna get a little weird. I thought it'd be funny. Some of these things turn me on. I don't know. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna be listing some cryptids that...
What is this picture? I love it so much. What's happening? Hey, yo.
I think have some strong sexual energy to them, just on a base level. Up first, we have the Oklahoma octopus. I don't want to explain why this one's horned. It's just a giant octopus that lives in Oklahoma, and it just like populates freshwater lakes all across the state. Its reddish-brown, horse-sized body. I didn't make up that.
That's very specific. Why did you use... What?
I don't want to get into the... Extra long tentacles that can wrap around humans and pull them to the bottom of the ocean.
Oklahoma is really down bad, I think.
Or just feel them up. I might not do this segment. It's been known to drown people, but also it's been known to not do that. I'm just saying it could embrace you pretty well. I'll move on. Then we have the Jersey Devil. If you know about the Jersey Devil, you're gonna say, Tucker, how the fuck is this thing horny? Let me explain to you. The legend of
his hear me outs are wild, all right?
Jersey Devil. The legend of the Jersey Devil dates back to 1735. A lady kept getting pregnant, got pregnant 13 times. And when she had the 13th baby, she was like, fuck this. And she cursed the child. She was like, I've had too many babies, I'm cursing
it took her all the way up till having 12 of them before she was done with it. I feel like that's really tolerant. I would have cursed the first one.
Child, I hate it so much. And the baby must have heard her say that, because when it eventually came out of her, it had goat's hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, horns, claws, and a forked tail. So it definitely really fucked her up on the way out. Then the baby just flew out of the window, like it looked at its mom and said, nah, I hate you, bitch, and it just flew into the night. Now it's a
culture. Oh my God. So she birthed the monstrosity because it heard her in the womb talking like smack?
Tradition in Jersey on Mischief Night, which is the night before or after Halloween, I don't remember, but if your kids go out and do that, all that throwing eggs and stuff, though, the parents are like, well, the Jersey Devil might get you. And apparently in 1909, 30 sightings of the New Jersey Devil made it make papers, and then they closed schools the next day.
Wait, they closed schools? Hoof prints in the snow, whirring noises in the air, and other uncanny manifestations reach Burdentown and Mount Holly after making sensation in lower counties where natives remain indoors after sundown. This is the best way to get a day off of school I've ever heard in my life.
Devil made it make papers, and then they closed schools the next day.
Imagine, can you imagine these people? It's like, oh yeah, in your day you get a snow day. Back in my day, we lied about a frickin' cryptid making its way around our town, and that's how we got the school day off.
That's kind of real, but I think it's
no school today because demons.
Kind of hot because
that goes so hard.
Several reasons, actually. One, I've seen a lot of fan art of like hooved creatures that can be hot. People used to make Satan, I don't want to get into that. And also, it's got mommy issues, and also it's like it wasn't well respected. Like even if it lived in the family with 13 kids, it wasn't getting enough attention. It's gonna be kind of a whore.
So you really, really like? Wait, what? What kind of segue is that? You said it's gonna be because it has mommy issue. Sir,
run by the game. Like even if it lived in the family with 13 kids, it wasn't getting enough attention. It's gonna be kind of a whore. Moving on. Oh, we have the Bat Squatch. It's like the Bat Squatch is like a blue.
I like this one. I like this one. Like out of Sasquatch and Bat Squatch, I feel like Bat Squatch goes a lot harder.
It comes with all the perfect features you would want. It's got yellow eyes, a dog's muzzle, blue fur, sharp teeth, bird feet, and leathery bat wings. I have seen fursonas that are exactly this. Now, I'm not saying this
I'm pretty sure all of these are an excuse to make, like, a fursona or a scaly.
Me on. I'm saying it's definitely going to turn certain people on. This is right up some fucking fan fiction alley. First reported in the 80s in Washington.
Yeah, literally a Batman. Batman, but, as intended.
State, and it appeared after the eruption of Mount St. Helens, and it was flying around the volcanic activity.
Bro, it happens after a volcano eruption?
So people were like, hey, yo, that's like a volcano demon. Once again, this is fan fiction. Some people think it's a
volcano demon? Even better.
Up baby that breathed in a bunch of volcanic ash, and some people think it's an ancient horror come to haunt us all. Since then, it's been flapping its 50-foot wingspan in California, Arizona, and Ohio. But one of the hottest things about the Bat Squatch is
Arizona and Ohio. That's wild.
It knows its way around an engine. Some of you ladies might enjoy that one. In a 1944 sighting, there was a guy driving his car in Pierce County, and the thing showed up and just stopped its engine. Using its brain or something? I don't know.
Bro, it used, like, telekinesis except for in order to turn off, like, car engines.
Kinda hot. I'm stretching on this one. I'll give
it
to
I feel like he's just down bad. I feel like he needs to go outside, maybe breathe some fresh air.
And finally, we have The Beast of Bray Road. And I don't read fan fiction or romance novels, but I'm sure if I went to Barnes & Noble to the romance section, I could find a book of this exact title.
I was gonna say, that's just a werewolf. I feel like, yeah. But, like, that, people are already down bad for werewolves.
It is tall, dark, ripped, covered in fur. That's, I mean, what else do you want? Yeah,
It's a werewolf.
spends a lot of its time eating organs out of animal carcasses on the side of the road, but he's a fixer-upper. Most of the sightings came from the 80s and 90s. So
Alright, so he's like a little bit more of a disgusting werewolf. Like he's like a coyote type of werewolf.
Looking for that like Matthew Lillard vibe, you're gonna get it from him. And a reporter for the Walworth County Week newspaper was assigned to track this thing, and she said all the eyewitness testimony seemed legit. So this thing definitely exists. It's definitely worth banging.
It definitely exists. It's definitely worth banging, he says.
I have a way to wrap up this video. Cryptids may or may not be real, but I think it's really fun to believe in them at least a little bit, because what's the point of living if you only believe in like snakes? New videos every Saturday and Wednesday. Sorry for being late on this one. I'm
This
done
is
moving.
so good.
My apartment is beautiful now, and my mommy designed it because she's an interior designer. Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't bang cryptids unless you want to.
This was such a good video. Also, I feel like you are a coward, okay? I'm just putting it out there. I feel like you are a coward if you only go for like the definitely not a werewolf one. Like the Beast of Bray Road, like that's just werewolves, okay? That's just a werewolf. Like that's not very, you know, interesting or anything. I feel like you either go big or go home, okay? Like you gotta go in with your full chest. You gotta go for the bat squatch. All right? If you're gonna do a hear me out, you don't go for the, like, you know, werewolf, but with a different name. You say, hear me out. You know, bat squatch, smash. Yeah. Now we're talking, all right? Get cultured.